Hello friends and welcome back to the Little Woman podcast. I was very happy that my long-time Little Woman friend Melodie Ellison came to be my guest for the next 3 episodes. We shall be dissecting Laurie's proposal to Jo word by word and counting all the red flags there are. We also came to the conclusion that the closest adaptation to the novel proposal scene is the movie from 1933 and the furthest is in fact Little Woman 2019, so the adaptations are going more further and further away from the actual novel. I believe there is some truth based in Laurie's proposal. We know that Louisa May Alcott had a fling with the young Ladislas Wisniewski, and he was very flirtatious, and I personally believe that he had a crush on Louisa because she was a mother figure, someone who liked to look after him. Jo is a mother figure for Laurie, and you cannot marry someone when you see them more as your child. A crush on Louisa because she was a mother figure, someone who liked to look after him. Jo is a mother figure for Laurie, and you cannot marry someone when you see them more as your child. I think it is possible to still like and appreciate Laurie's character, because this is exactly what he needs to hear from Jo, so he can grow as a man when he falls in love with Amy. I personally like the book Laurie a lot more because he is complicated, relatable, and as Melodie and I shall be discussing, he behaves like a 20-something man, and we can learn from that. We can recognize that behavior and we can decide not to romanticize it. Melodie and I have known a couple years now. She runs the Little Woman book club in Facebook. That is where we met. I am no longer on Facebook, so don't bother to find me there. I quit last year. It wasn't good for my mental health. You all know how Facebook can be. But if you are on Facebook, that is a good group, and Melodie is very knowledgeable on all things Little Woman. I have some Little Woman coloring book pages available on my Ko-fi shop. You can leave a donation there if you are a fan of this podcast. The Ko-fi page is at ko-fi.com/littlewomanchannel. In these next 3 episodes, we are going to talk about the chapter 35 called Heartache. If you have listened to my podcast before, you know that I don't believe that Laurie was ever in love with Jo, and especially after this chat that I had with Melodie, it just confirmed this idea, and also that this chapter shows incredibly well how difficult it is for Jo to see emotional manipulation because she has such a strong maternal feelings for him. People always wonder why Jo wants to start a school for boys, and they think it is not very feminist. In the novel it is mentioned many times how Jo loved boys, and when she would run to play with boys even as an adult, and some of those boys were other than Laurie. In Little Man, Jo says to one of her students, I think it was Dan, that she and Fredrik want to grow their boys to respect women. They want to see a world where men and women respect one another. Little Man was written in 1870s. Word was not very equal back then. Jo has loved that word of boys so much because it gave her liberty that she would not get in the female circles. But then there are times when this word of boys is not so great, like when Laurie makes these ultimatums when he proposes her. So when Jo starts a school for boys, that can be seen as a feminist act because when she guides her boys, she is going to raise them to respect women so they don't end up doing what Laurie did to her. Those of you who have not read the books and you have only seen Laurie's proposals in various Little Woman adaptations, please listen to this episode and let me know your thoughts in the comments. I have no idea how it is even possible that we have Jo and Laurie shippers in the world, because if Laurie would do these things today, he would be a target of a Me Too campaign. And the comment shoutout goes to Christina. Quote, the whole Fredrik versus Laurie debate can be summed up in one idiotic sentence. Jo only marries Fredrik because she was lonely and really she's a lesbian, asexual, but straight and in love only for Laurie. It totally makes sense. Just what? People are so contradictory, and they must not know Jo at all if they think she'd ever marry someone she didn't love and that she never wanted to be loved or married. Stop watching the movies and read the damn book. It bewilders me whenever anyone brought up age, saying how he is disgustingly older than her. There is a 16-year age difference, and Jo was well into her 20s when she met him, not at all a child. So I hardly find that disgusting, and And for all of people who talk about having crushes on older guys, it comes across pretty hypocritical. It's only alright to you if he was described as being handsome, not the big teddy bear of a man he is. Stuff like this really tells me what kind of person these people are, and it's shallow. End quote. Can't argue with that. People's reading comprehension is something that I am genuinely worried. Laurie was being abusive in the novel. Louisa May Alcott did want to get married, she writes about it in her journals, but she was in love with her professor, and I especially like the one essay she wrote a year after she had met Ladislas, that marriage should not only be based on physical passion, minds should go together and souls unite. And she definitely considered future with Ladislas, but you can't marry someone when they expect you to be their mother and not an equal partner. This is Small Umbrella in the Rain, Little Woman podcast. Girls say no when they mean yes, and other red flags in Laurie's proposal.
My name is Melodie Ellison. I am the founder of the Little Women Book Club on Facebook. I did not think that that would be so popular, but it's incredibly popular now, especially. We got a whole lot of new members. When I'm not posting there or commenting there or just being an admin in general, I am a writer and an actor. I have a book that's called Rachel and the Mighty Arm That Built Egypt. You can find it on Amazon. I'm right now in the middle of rehearsals for Little Mermaid. That's my general life.
Is it Disney Little Mermaid?
Yes.
Yay.
Yes, I play Chef Louis, the psychotic French chef.
That's great.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I know that you've done some of your own research on Louisa May Alcott.
Yes.
You know a lot about her as well.
Yeah, I know more than the average Little Women fan, but I certainly don't know anything compared to yourself. I'm still in the book club. I'm like, you guys have to check out this podcast. It's if you will learn something. Even if you think you know a lot, you are going to learn something from it.
Oh, thanks. I do my best.
I always like to know the whys of things, and that's pretty much how I ended up learning more about Louisa May Alcott than like the average person, is because, I'm like, why did she make this choice? And it's like a lot of the stuff you've pointed out, a lot of it comes down to her own upbringing and her exposure to, Germanic type writings, and there's a lot there.
That's really the way I started. Like, I wanted to know the reasons why there are these choices in the book.
Mm-hmm.
What are the stories behind them? We are going to dissect the chapter 35 of Little Woman, called Heartache.
I printed out the chapter so that I could write on it if I wanted to. But yes, I have the chapter ready to read.
Awesome. Would you like to start?
Sure. Okay, so Little Women, Part 2, Chapter 35, Heartache. Whatever his motive might have been, Laurie studied to some purpose that year, for he graduated with honor and gave the Latin oration with the grace of a Phillips and the eloquence of a Demosthenes, so his friends said. They were all there, his grandfather oh so proud, Mr. and Mrs. March, John and Meg, Jo and Beth, and all exulted over him with the sincere admiration which boys make light of at the time, but fail to win from the world by any after triumphs.
So we have Laurie graduating, and he's doing pretty good.
Yes, he did really well. It kind of makes me sad sometimes when I look at this because to realize that he didn't do it for himself, for the purpose of knowledge. He did it for Jo and for his grandfather. Yeah, it's like you're happy for him that he obviously has learned a lot, because he wouldn't have been graduated with honors if he hadn't been able to retain information. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, I guess as somebody who has a great love of learning, it makes me sad to think that somebody wouldn't learn just for the sake of wanting to learn, that they would be doing it for someone else.
Yeah, I just rewatched the 1978 version, and there's the moment he's in the billiard hall, and the grandfather is like, why you are not in school? And he's like, skipping school there. He still manages to study at some point, I think.
Yes. And in I think it was even maybe in this chapter that it talks about how he had gave up billiards for Jo,
Yeah.
you know? And I think it's one of those subtext things where it's like, because it's not like talked about a lot in the book, like, oh, he's so into billiards or he's into these things that are like maybe not good for his character, you know, because at the time billiards would have been considered like a low type of thing to be involved with. It's a thing like she couldn't make him like an alcoholic or something that was going to be really bad, you know?
Yeah.
So she gave him billiards and it's still like his fault.
One of the earliest chapter in part 2, when Laurie is in college, it's mentioned that he smokes, drinks, plays pool, and flirts with girls. Something like that. And then he always gets out of trouble when he gets into fights, and all the teachers like him, even though he's not always the most responsible student, because he's so charming. It's interesting. Laurie is an interesting character.
Yes.
I've got to stay for this confounded supper, but I shall be home early tomorrow. You'll come and meet me as usual, girls, Laurie said, as he put the sisters into the carriage after the joys of the day were over. He said girls, but he meant Jo, for she was the only one who kept up the old custom. She had not the heart to refuse her splendid, successful boy anything, and answered warmly, I'll come, Teddy, rain or shine, and march before you, playing Hail the Conquering Hero Comes on a Jew's harp. Laurie thanked her with a look that made her think, in a sudden panic, oh dear me, I know he'll say something, and then what shall I do? Jo knows what's going to happen.
She does. She does know. And I mean, isn't at this point she's already been avoiding him?
She's been to the other side of the country, avoiding him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one of those things too that I feel like a lot in Little Women, something that Louisa May Alcott gets totally right is your state of mind at different ages. Aren't they in their early 20s at this point or late teens?
Early 20s, I think.
And so they're at that age where maybe they wouldn't normally just say their mind. They're weaving around each other, doing a dance of like, oh, I feel this way, versus if they were 10 years older, she, instead of running away, she would have already told him, hey, I'm not interested in you like that.
I don't think I ever thought about that, but yeah, I can see that.
And it's just like how, you know, we've talked about before about how Laurie's love for Jo is an immature love. And again, it totally fits the age that he's at. It's not like that's who he is completely as a person, because by the time he asks Amy to marry him, he's not the same person, but because he's grown up some.
Mm.
And the fact that Louisa May Alcott can so exactly portray the inner workings of these people to fit the real ages they are, that's one of those things I think that is a very understated thing about her as a writer, is she really does capture the way we think when we're at these different ages.
Yeah, I think the transcendentalists, they had this thing. Louisa was encouraged to write her inner thoughts all the time when she was younger. Like she had to collect all her thoughts and memories. Well, she didn't have to do that, but she was encouraged to do it. Then you learn to know about yourself. And that was part of their fate. I think you can see a lot of that in Little Woman, because you can read so much about the characters' inner worlds.
Yes, I agree. Evening meditation and morning work somewhat allayed her fears, and having decided that she wouldn't be vain enough to think people were going to propose when she had given them every reason to know that her answer would be, she set forth at the appointed time, hoping Teddy wouldn't do anything to make her hurt his poor feelings. A call at Meg's and a refreshing sniff and sip at the Daisy and Demijohn still further fortified her for the tete-a-tete, but when she saw a stalwart figure looming in the distance, she had a strong desire to turn about and run away.
Despite that, she had given them every reason to know what her answer would be. That really got into me.
Yeah.
She has given him multiple reasons that she's not into him.
I think a lot of us have been in those situations in life, though, right? With young men, the young man who, it doesn't matter how many times you say, "Hey, this is not how I see you," or "This is not going to work." I mean, nowadays it's usually about because a movie from the 80s or something told him that if he just keeps trying, it'll work. But in Laurie's time, it probably had been reading romantic poetry or some other romantic writings that taught him that he was like going to win if he just kept at it, because obviously he just had to play the part of the romantic lead, and then she would love him.
Yeah, that is very problematic these days.
Yes.
I think we talked about this earlier, how there are so many examples in the media about the guys who behave like this.
Yes, like I know we talked about it with like The Notebook. The Notebook, it always makes me crazy when people are like, it's such a romantic movie, you know. I haven't read the book, I've only seen the movie. But, you know, the scene where he's hanging off the Ferris wheel and like threatening to kill himself essentially if she won't go on a date with him, that is not romantic, that is abuse. You know.
Yeah.
That's manipulation. But I think there's a lot of, it sounds like even all the way back then, a lot of men who think that that is a romantic gesture when really all it is manipulation.
I read The Notebook, but it was maybe 15 years ago. I don't think that scene was in it. Maybe it was only in the film. But maybe. I need to check that out. It's really troublesome in the movie. And the way Edward stalks Bella in Twilight.
Yes. You know, and the sad thing is like we do buy into this stuff, because I see all the problematic things with Twilight, but I still like Twilight. I still like the books. I still like the movies, but I wouldn't want an Edward. You know, I wouldn't want it personally. I enjoy the films, but it's really not a good message.
Yeah, I've only seen the first Twilight film, but I can see why a lot of young fans would like that. I can see why a lot of young readers would like that in Laurie. Yes. Because you don't have that experience yourself. If we would all imagine some guy saying that they are going to hurt themselves if we don't go out with them, nobody's going to think that's romantic or sweet. Yeah. I kind of like the scene where she goes to see Daisy and Demi-John. Just shows once again that Jo really wants a family to herself.
You know, I mean, think about how she creates her large family with Plumfield. I feel like it's one of those examples, too, how in some of the more modern explorations of Little Women, people try to make her like just this like career woman and all of that, you know, and it's like there's nothing that was more important to Jo than her family. Her writing was secondary next to her family. It's an odd thing when people try to present her as this just career driven, and it's like she's not career driven, she's driven by family and art. It's her writing is her art.
I think it's the chapter All Alone where the narrator says that she has sacrificed hopes of love and chances for her own family, for her career and other things, her health. She's not happy. That's really sad.
You look at the other books, I mean, clearly having a family ended up being a way more important thing to her than her writing was. We're not quite there yet in this chapter, but there was something that really struck me while I was reading the chapter this time. And it was the kind of the structure of Laurie and Jo's relationship reminded me of something. And I'm like, what does this remind me of? What does this remind me of? And then it hit me. It reminds me of Peter Pan and Wendy.
You know, I was thinking about that earlier today, that the way Jo collects these boys around her, she's like Wendy and the Lost Boys.
Her Lost Boys, exactly.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, you know, with the way she interacts with Laurie in this chapter, like when she, you know, she's like cradling him practically and like touching his hair. And it makes me think of this mother type figure, but it's not a real mother. It's this child pretending to be a mother to this boy who pretends to basically be a man. And so that made me think, this is like Peter Pan and Wendy. And of course, Peter Pan was first a play and then it became a novel, but it wasn't written until the beginning of the 1900s. So it's like 40 years after Little Women, basically. And so then I started thinking, I wonder if J.M. Barrie was influenced by Louisa May Alcott at all, because between the relationship that Laurie and Jo have to the next book where Jo has this group of these boys. So I did a search, and what I found when I did a Google search was someone had actually written their thesis on a similar idea. The thesis was written by someone named Leah Marie Kirkpatrick, and it was titled Hidden Kisses, Walled Gardens, and Angelkinder, a story of the Victorian and Edwardian conceptions of motherhood and childhood in Little Women, The Secret Garden, and Peter Pan. So if someone else has had some similar ideas like this, I'm like, I must be on to something. Now, I only just found this today, so I have not read it because it is 148 pages long.
All right.
It's a thesis, but I thought, how interesting, because it seems like her general, the main point of it is this idea, in this era, make both the idea of childhood and motherhood kind of like an angelic sort of situation, like you become saint-like as a mother, you are an angel as a child, this kind of celebration of innocence within both of these ideas. But I don't know, I think it's something to look at more, like the idea that in a way, Laurie and Jo are kind of a Peter and Wendy situation.
That's super interesting. I was talking in an earlier episode with somebody who said that when Jo takes care of Beth, she almost has a maternal relationship to Beth, like she's almost Beth's secondary mother as well.
Yes.
And then I was thinking, like what you just said, Laurie, he is like Peter Pan because Peter Pan doesn't want to grow up. In Peter Pan, Wendy, even though she likes the idea of being a child, she also wants to grow up. She wants to know what it's like to be an adult. And I think they even refer adulthood as another adventure. Where's the juice harp, Jo? Cried Laurie, as soon as he was within speaking distance. I forgot it, and Jo took heart again, for that salutation could not be God lover-like. She always used to take his arm on these occasions. Now she did not, and he made no complaint, which was a bad sign, but talked on rapidly about all sorts of faraway subjects, till they turned from the road into the little path that led homeward through the grove. Then he walked more slowly, suddenly lost his fine flow of language, and now and then a dreadful pause occurred to rescue the conversation from one of the wells of silence into which it kept falling. Jo said hastily, "Now you must have a good, long holiday." "I intend to." Something in his resolute tone made Jo look up quickly, to find him looking down at her, with an expression that assured her the dreaded moment had come, and made her put out her hand with an imploring, "No, Teddy, please don't." "I will, and you must hear me. It's no use, Jo. We've got to have it out, and the sooner the better for both of us," he answered, getting flushed and excited all at once. "Say what you like, then I'll listen," said Jo with a desperate sort of patience. Jo is deadly afraid at this point.
Yes. As an adult, at least reading this scene, I don't see how people are still like wanting her to say yes. And really, I don't see how Laurie still ends up people's like favorite character that is not a sister.
I think it's the adaptations.
Oh, you're probably right. Because we just did a poll in the Little Women Book Club. And first we did a poll of who's your favorite sister. And of course, Jo in a landslide won. And then we did a poll that was who's your favorite character who isn't one of the sisters. And Laurie won by more than double that of the runner-up. But at least the runner-up was Friedrich. I am happy about that. But like really overall, Laurie got more votes even than Jo got from both the polls.
Interesting. The 2019 film, Laurie has no flaws. They have all been erased.
Well, his costuming.
Well, that one, yeah.
Oh, what bugs me so much, because I felt like in general, he did a pretty good job, but the costuming really did him no justice, because when he's supposed to be a grown-up, especially in that proposal scene, he looks like he's got like a full diaper or something, because his drawers are so loose. Like it looks like he's like a child who has a diaper that needs to be changed.
Somebody who was a Jo and Laurie shipper said to me that Friedrich was terrible bully in the 2019 film. Laurie was always kind to Jo.
Oh, interesting. I didn't think that Friedrich came off as a bully. I think that they made a mistake by not casting someone German. I think they made a mistake by casting somebody who was too conventionally handsome. People get so wrapped up in the idea that when they think that Jo and Laurie should have been together. If they actually read the book, that they must not have very much reading comprehension.
I think they got really defensive. Like they were on Jo's side when Jo said that Fredrik was a terrible bully. So they identified with Jo. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because in the book, Jo and Fredrik don't argue.
That whole film, I mean, the only thing good that came out of that film is that it gave, I think, a lot of people new eyes to look at Amy.
Yeah.
You know, Amy had a little bit of a redemption in that film. But at the same time, it was so weird seeing that actress play young Amy and then adult Amy. That just didn't, to me, that didn't work, especially since the whole thing was done in like flashbacks and flash forwards, and it just didn't work to me.
And it was really confusing because once you have Jo saying that she wants to be alone, then she's lonely, then she says that she's in love with Fredrik, and then she suddenly wants Laurie back. Right. I have no idea what was going on in it. Like what was going on in Jo's head.
You know, it's like they wanted to take a story that just is a beautiful story that has a lot of heart and turn it into something artsy. That's not what the story is. It just didn't work. I know you agree. It just didn't. The whole idea behind it didn't work.
I just like to complain about it.
I always try to remind myself that with things like this, that I didn't like it, but there's someone who did. So maybe that film was for them. And maybe that film will then be the gateway to them watching one that actually will be better, or maybe to read more of the books or any of the books. Because, I mean, there are Little Women fans who have not read the book who just like watching the movies. Yeah, we have some people like that in the book club. All they are interested in are the movies. And, I mean, I understand that. There are some really good books that I haven't read, but I've seen the movies of. But for the most part, if I see a movie that is good, I try to read the book first, and if I don't, then I'll read the book later, but I'm also a big bookworm. Laurie was a young lover, but he was in earnest and meant to have it out. If he died in the attempt, so he plunged into the subject with characteristic impetuosity, saying in a voice that would get choky now and then, in spite of manful efforts to keep it steady, "I've loved you ever since I've known you, Jo. Couldn't help it. You've been so good to me. I've tried to show it, but you wouldn't let me. Now I'm going to make you hear and give me an answer, for I can't go on so any longer. I've wanted to save you this. I thought you'd understand," began Jo, finding it a great deal harder than she expected. "I know you did, but the girls are so queer you never know what they mean. They say no when they mean yes and drive a man out of his wits just for the fun of it," returned Laurie, entrenching himself behind an undeniable fact. Okay, so when I reread this the other day, this made me mad.
I have a red flag drawn to this part.
Yes, it's such a red flag. And, you know, I'm like, I didn't realize that this notion that when women say no, they mean yes, that it was such an old idea. And the fact that it says entrenching himself behind an undeniable fact. It's like, how is that an undeniable fact? I don't know a single woman who says no when they mean yes. If he knew Jo, he'd know that wouldn't be how she is either, you know, and that's why she keeps going.
And it's like that scene in Vienna when he doesn't really seem to know Jo at all when he tries to put her into the opera.
Yes.
And just after that, he realizes, well, Jo would not really fit into an opera.
And it's exactly what she tells him in this chapter, that he needs someone who's elegant. He needs someone who's going to fit in his world. And she doesn't. And when I was thinking about his whole purpose of this proposal, he doesn't actually want to marry her. He wants to marry her family. You know what I mean? Like she was the doorway into which he entered the March family to begin with. And so to him, it's this natural thing that means he should marry her. In a way, he kind of continues this. One of our book club members mentioned that she doesn't really believe so much that Laurie even was completely sincere with Amy, like that the idea really was still that he wanted to marry into the family. And so it wasn't like, oh, I love you, Amy, and so we're going to be married now. You're another way for me to be really a part of this family.
I made an episode where I analyzed Laurie's proposal to Amy. You know, he's very flicky because in one moment he's like, he tries to resent the idea that he was in love with Amy because he sees himself as this romantic hero. He feels like he owes Jo some kind of a favor, which he doesn't. He feels like he he's unfaithful to Jo, even though Jo has said no many times to him. And I have no idea why he feels like that. And I think it might have to do with this whole idea of a family.
Yeah, because when him and Jo first became friends, when he first was like moved in with his grandfather, he felt very disconnected from people, right? Because both of his parents were gone, and he did not have that closeness with his grandfather yet at that point. Jo became like this lifeline to family. He knew he was miserable without her at that point in his life. So that's probably why he feels like he owes her, is because of that.
I think he almost sees Jo as the last resort, that when he marries Jo, he doesn't need to grow and be responsible. He doesn't need to fit into that world that his grandfather wants him to fit into, because Jo has these maternal feelings for him, and she kind of tries to keep him on the right path. So yes. He's almost addicted to that nurturing nature that she has for boys and for him.
I opened up for discussion this chapter with the book club on Facebook because I thought, maybe there'll be somebody who has some kind of extra insight. And one of our members, Lorraine, pointed out what a great amount of integrity Jo shows by rejecting Laurie. And I couldn't agree with this more, but it made me think too about the concept in a lot of, like a big theme in a lot of German literature, right, is the women's self-sacrificing love, especially in things like Goethe, right? And we know Louisa May Alcott loved this, loved German literature.
Yeah.
And we can see this theme in other parts of Little Women, the self-sacrificing love, the behavior of Beth, or even Jo cutting off her hair to sell for her family. But I really appreciate that in this scene, Jo does not sacrifice herself. That she doesn't say, oh, he loves me and my family, I'm not going to hurt him. Oh, I do love him, I just don't love him the right way, but I'll still marry him. Think how easy that's how this scene could have gone that way, especially if you follow this theme of women self-sacrificing love.
I recently read Anna Swim, which is another Alcott short story, but it had an interesting scene where this Anna, the female character, she wants uncomplicated friendships with young men that feels like the time when they were children, without any kind of romantic feelings. That is the relationships that she wants with male friends.
Yes.
And then she wants real love with somebody, which is not based on financials or any kinds of fake feelings. But I thought that was interesting because Jo and Laurie have that childhood friendship where they don't have complicated feelings of romance and getting married. And then Laurie suddenly wants that, but Jo doesn't want that romance with him. When I was reading it, it seemed very difficult for this female character to have those kind of relationships, uncomplicated friendships with men once she became an adult.
Oh, and that's something that I think that we see a lot in modern times too. There's always that question of, can men and women just be friends?
Yeah, when Harry met Sally.
Yes, yes. I personally think it's very difficult for men and women to just be friends unless you're like a couple friends. Like me and my husband can be friends with a couple. You know what I mean? I think it's harder for me to just have like a male friend, because I have seen that at least on the other side, on the male side, they usually want something besides friendship, or they mistake friendliness for romantic love.
I have some male friends, but it's never deep friendship.
Yes.
It's never extremely emotional friendship. We get along, we might hang out. It's not as deep as it might be with my female friends. But then Jo, she doesn't really have many female friends. I don't think she has any female friends in the novel. And she always goes to the company of boys because she feels that the boys are less complicated and they don't require that much of her. Amy and Meg say that you need to dress in a certain way, to behave a certain way. I don't. I never wanted to make you care for me. And I went away to keep you from it if I could. I thought so. It was like you, but it was no use. I only loved you all the more. and I worked hard to please you, and I gave up billiards and everything you didn't like, and I waited and never complained, for I hoped you'd love me, though I'm not half good enough. Here there was a joke that couldn't be controlled, so he decapitated buttercups while he cleared his confounded throat. Yes, you are. You're a great deal too good for me, and I'm so grateful to you, and so proud and fond of you. I don't see why I can't love you as you want me to. I've tried, but I can't change the feeling, and it would be a lie to say I do when I don't. Really, truly, Jo? He stopped short and caught both her hands as he put his question with a hook that she did not soon forget. Really, truly, dear. They were the grow now, close by the stile, and when the last words fell reluctantly from Jo's lips, Laurie dropped her hands and turned as if to go on, but for once in his life that fence was too much for him, so he just laid his head down on the mossy post and stood so still that Jo was frightened.
Oh, Teddy, I'm sorry, so desperately sorry. I could kill myself if it would do any good. I wish you wouldn't take it so hard. I can't help it. You know it's impossible for people to make themselves love other people if they don't, cried Jo inelegantly but remorsefully as she softly patted his shoulder, remembering the time when he had comforted her so long ago. They do sometimes, said a muffled voice from the post. I don't believe it's the right sort of love, and I'd rather not try, was the decided answer. There was a long pause while a blackbird sung blithely on the willow by the river, and the tall grass rustled in the wind. Presently Jo said very soberly, as she sat down on the step of the stile, Laurie, I want to tell you something. He started as if he had been shot, threw up his head, and cried out in a fierce tone, Don't tell me that, Jo. I can't bear it now. Tell what? She asked, wondering at his violence. That you love that old man. What old man? Demanded Jo, thinking he must mean his grandfather. That devilish professor you were always writing about. If you say you love him, I know I shall do something desperate. And he looked as if he would keep his word, so he clenched his hands with a wrathful spark in his eyes.
Not the red flag here.
Right? And, this is interesting, too, though, because it shows that he's not totally unaware. And so that makes me wonder why he still asks her to marry him, right? Because he knows there's something with her and the professor, even if she doesn't know there's something with her and the professor.
That is true. And this white old man demanded Jo, thinking he must mean his grandfather. Jo doesn't think that Friedrich is old.
Well, he's not old. Well, maybe that's just me saying that because I'm old.
He's 39. That's not old.
Old to Laurie.
There's this part. I only loved you all the more, and I worked hard to please you, and I gave up billiards and everything. And then I think about Friedrich's proposal. He goes to the other side of the country to work so he can get some money and build Jo a house.
And even his whole saying that he doesn't have anything to offer her, right? When he says,
empty
that his hands are empty. It's again, it's such a different approach. I feel like Laurie's approach is more like, I can give you everything. We're supposed to be together. I did this stuff that actually isn't even that big of a deal, but it should be taken seriously versus, like you said, look what Friedrich actually does. He does something incredibly hard, but he does everything humbly, and he says, I have nothing to offer you, essentially.
Jo is so incredibly happy when Friedrich proposes. Like you said, Laurie, in reality, he can't really offer the things that she needs, that she wants. And Jo cannot give Laurie what he wants. The thing is, Laurie wants somebody who admires him, somebody who can push him to be a better person. Because this is the lazy Laurie, the one who plays billiard.
This is a good example, too, of why Laurie and Amy are well suited for each other. I went ahead and I reread most of the chapter where he proposes to Amy, too, because I wanted to contrast the two proposals. And in that chapter, when he finds her after Beth has died, and the language used there where he does all these things that she needs, and how he pets her, he builds her up. He does the kind of stuff he liked Jo to do for him. And so it's kind of interesting because his relationship with Jo was he was kind of always looking for someone to save him. And then his relationship with Amy puts him in this position where he finally grows into his manhood to where he's going to save someone else.
Yeah.
So I just think it's interesting because like Amy needs that reassurance and that, oh, you're doing a good job. Oh, you're so strong. Jo doesn't need that kind of reassurance so much. But both Amy and Laurie need that.
Yeah. And they have the whole my lady and my lord thing going on.
Yes, I think that's cute. I like that.
Yeah, me too. Then in that chapter, when Laurie is in Vienna and he conjures that dream woman, it's interesting because he showers the dream woman with all these gifts under the sun. She gets diamonds and dresses and whatever she needs. This idea that Laurie has here, that he can give Jo all these material things. He thinks that that's all she needs, which is not the case. Still in that moment when he's conjuring this dream woman, he just thinks that his money can solve all his problems. But then slowly when this dream woman starts to look like Amy, he gives away the dream woman and then he thinks about Amy in reality, which is super interesting.
Yes.
Jo wanted to laugh, but restrained herself and said warmly, for she too was getting excited with all this, "Don't swear, Teddy. He isn't old nor anything bad, but good and kind and the best friend I've got next to you. Pray don't fly into passion. I want to be kind, but I know I shall get angry if you abuse my professor. I haven't the least idea of loving him or anybody else. But you will after a while, and then what will become of me? You'll love someone else too, like a sensible boy, and forget all this trouble. I can't love anyone else, and I'll never forget you, Jo. Never, never," with a stamp to emphasize his passionate words. "What shall I do with him?" sighed Jo, finding that emotions were more unimaginable than she expected. "You haven't heard what I wanted to tell you. Sit down and listen, for indeed I want to do right and make you happy," she said, hoping to soothe him with a little reason, which proved that she knew nothing about love.
The fact that he stamps his feet, he's like a toddler throwing a fit. Never, never. Really. So romantic.
I remember reading this for the first time when I was 17, and I had seen the 1994 film, and I thought that this was so different than what I saw in the screen.
So I read it for the first time when I was 13. I read it in summer of 1994 before the film came out. So I definitely got a different feeling from the film to this. Now, the film version I find really interesting because there's a book that's called Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy, The Story of Little Women and Why It Still Matters by Anne Boyd Rouault.
Yeah, I know that one.
I don't. Okay, so it says in that book that in the original draft that Laurie does kiss Jo, just like in the 94 movie, which is not the final version of the book. The book says, when she first wrote the scene, Alcott had a more dramatic exit in mind. Instead of simply turning away, Laurie caught her in his arms and kissed her violently. Jo did not respond, but was subsequently frightened by his passion. And I think it's interesting that it was changed, because I do feel like the movie version, of 94 movie version, that the scene worked really well. It really did. But it does make you feel worse for Laurie, because you're like, oh, he loves her, and he doesn't seem like a petulant child. He seems just like this man who loves her and has loved her his whole life, But I wonder why Louisa May Alcott actually changed it from what she originally wrote, unless she was just trying to make a more clean break of he is not the right person for Jo.
I have two theories. I think it might be Louisa and Larry Wisniewski, because I knew that they kissed in a carriage. Louisa writes about that in her journal. Then she writes like, it was time for the old woman to go back to her own life. I was reading that Louisa May Alcott was like 32 or something, why she calls herself old. And then I remembered, well, he's 21.
In that time period, I was just thinking like, recently with Betty White passing away, there's been so much stuff with the Golden Girls in the media. And when the Golden Girls first came out, those women were only like 53 years old. Yeah. But for like our standards of today, 53-year-old in the 80s looks like a 75-year-old or an 80-year-old now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so to be a 32-year-old in the mid to late 1800s, I'm sure that felt very old next to a 21-year-old man. That probably felt like she was robbing the cradle.
There's still lots of people who don't like to see older women with younger men. So there's controversy now, and there was controversy then. I think Louisa must have really good reasons to reject him, because I think only way Jo and Laurie would have ended up together in this book is if Louisa had married him. I don't think she loved him, because there's also these references that she kind of had maternal feelings for him. It's kind of difficult to be in a relationship with that kind of person if you are more like a mother figure for them and not an equal partner. And then also in Goethe's novel Sorrows of Young Werther, when Werther confesses his feelings for Lottie, I think they also kissed in the novel, because that proposal is very similar to this one.
Oh, okay.
Werther, he threatens to kill himself if Lottie won't marry him. It really goes into this romanticizing this guy and the way he pursues this woman. So yeah, I think that's why Louisa May Alcott might have written this early draft with a kiss that was passionate, but also Jo is really frightened when that happens. I read, I think it was some Alcott biography, that she had smudged this original draft and changed it without any further explanation.
I wish that we could actually see those silent films. I'd be very curious to see what those were like. In the book club, we're starting like both a movie and a reading challenge. So the movie challenge, we're doing a different movie every month now to analyze. And we're going to do a different book every other month. The first movie that we're starting our discussions on Saturday, is the 1933 movie with Katharine Hepburn. And the thing that really struck me, because I actually hadn't watched it until recently, the thing that struck me watching the 1933 version is really how not long ago Little Women would have come out then. It's like 65 years or something like that after Little Women was published that movie was made. And when you think about how short of a time period 65 years is, it'd be like if a book written in 1957 was made into a movie now. And so people who literally were alive when Little Women was first published were able to be seeing the movie in the theaters. And I think that probably really influenced the accuracy of time period for the film. And that's why I really wish that we had access to those silent films, because those silent films, obviously they're much closer even to the publication date than the 1933 film, because I'd be curious to see how much more accurate the costuming or the hair or even the way actors move. Because different time periods, we have different ways that we even move our bodies versus what's considered socially acceptable in the way that we stand or sit. And that's one of the reasons the 2019 film wasn't that great, was because the hair was so out of time period. You know what I mean?
Clothes.
Yes, the clothes, the colors of the clothes particularly.
I think that might be also the reason why the 1933 film, it's one of the closest to the books in ways the actors look and the characters. And also, I think that one and the 1949 film, Laurie's Proposal, it's pretty angry. He has a temper, and it's like he could stamp his foot to the ground. And I think he might actually do that in the 1933 film. Like he's shouting at her. And I think he says like, Jo, you don't know what you're doing. It's pretty close to this chapter.
Yes. I was really impressed with the 33 film because I thought this really is quite accurate to the book, with the exception of what it excludes, right? Because the 1933 film excludes the manuscript getting burnt. It excludes Amy falling through the ice. It excludes the teacher striking Amy and limes. And, so it leaves out a whole lot of these important parts that are normally not left out of the movies. I think that with the exception of what it excludes, I think that the 1933 film might be the most faithful to the novel as far as the way the characters are presented and the way the set, the actual, the sets that they're performing on really look accurate also, and the costuming. But I don't know if you know this, but the costumer for the 1933 film was Walter Plunkett. And Walter Plunkett also was the costumer for Gone with the Wind.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so this man was so good at costuming in the Civil War era. He was known as being like a big researcher when he did historical films. And so he would go to the libraries that had all the historical records on the actual costumes from the time periods, or like the clothing from the time periods. And so his costumes are way more accurate than most of the other films we're going to be seeing, because historical accuracy was important to him.
It's really nice. With the scenes that the movie doesn't have, it also have these scenes that are not adapted usually. Like I remember watching that, and it had the scene where Beth dies. But then after that, in the book, Jo thinks that she needs to take Beth's place. She does all these things at the home. She starts to take all these little chores that Beth used to do. Like it's her way to cope with the pain, but also she almost like has decided that now she's going to take care of her parents because Beth isn't here anymore. And that was in the film, and I was really impressed by that, because you have Katharine Hepburn being this clumsy, very tall tomboy girl trying to be this spirit of the home, and she was really endearing, and I really liked that.
I was really surprised with Katharine Hepburn, really, in the film. I mean, there were times, if the camera was too close to her, I do feel like she looked too old for the part most of the time. But when it was not close to her, I felt like we couldn't have had a more accurate Jo, a physical representation of Jo.
Yeah.
We actually have somebody who is tall and lanky and doesn't move always like a lady, she did a great job.
I think she and then Sarah Davenport in the 2018 film are closest to the book, Jo.
The 1994 film, before it even came out, I was horrified because I thought, how can Winona Ryder play this part when she's like a pixie, She's so tiny and she's so pretty. And I thought, there's no way. But then I saw the film, and she does such a good job of portraying the character that I give her a pass on being pretty and tiny, because I feel like she really does a good job of playing Jo, even if she doesn't look like Jo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think everyone in the 1994 film are very attractive. All of them, like Gabriel Byrne and Christian Bale, they're all very attractive. That's just the way it is, but it's still one of my favorites, together with the 1933 film, which is really interesting also because I think I like that because it has a very feminine looking Laurie and then very masculine looking Jo. And I think that's really the tension in the book also, because like in this proposal chapter, Laurie takes this very masculine role, and now he is treating Jo like she is a woman. But then in these earlier chapters, when they've been friends, they have also been putting other women down. Like there is that chapter when Laurie is in college and he's flirting with some woman, and then he turns to Jo and then he speaks shit about this woman who he just flirted with behind her back. He's a bit of a player.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that's such a good point about the 1933 movie about Jo having the masculine like energy and Laurie having the feminine. You're right that's not the case in any of the other representations. And it is exactly what the book really is like. And maybe that's one of those things that I didn't like actually think about when I was watching, but maybe that's part of why I thought it worked so well when I was watching the film. Because it's true. It's 100% true.
And I think, I speak about this a lot because I think it's so interesting because there are so many references in the book where Jo says that she likes very masculine and manly men. And then characters like Laurie and Nat, they are too feminine for her, too girly.
Yeah.
Like, she's not attracted to Laurie because Laurie looks very feminine and Fredrik is more
Dirty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can just picture him being a man who has very hairy hands,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, versus Laurie probably looks like he has a manicure.
And then I always thought that Amy is attracted to Laurie because he looks the way he does, like very artistic Roman guy, androgynous. And then Jo is attracted to much more rougher type of men.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a friend who she agrees with us that she did not like the new Little Women, but she loves Timothy Chalamet. She loves him, but she'll admit it that she thinks that feminine men are very attractive. She likes him. She likes Harry Styles. She liked David Bowie. She likes these more feminine, androgynous type of men.
There are lots of women who like skinny guys.
Androgynous.
Yeah, androgynous guys.
Yes, and so many women love like all the boy band guys, right?
Yeah.
Laurie is a boy band guy, and Professor Bear is a German professor, and I definitely would much rather be with the German professor than the boy band guy, but that's my own personal tastes as well.
Laurie in the 1933 film, he's also very feminine and genius. I really like that because you also get this feeling that if they would be a romantic couple, they would be quite unbalanced because Jo looks so very masculine and he looks more feminine.
Yes.
And I think it's so interesting because, Jo does feel this need to take care of him because he's not so solidly built, muscular. Somehow his body type might wake up those maternal feelings. I don't know. I just think it's interesting.
Think about it too. The very beginning, when we're first introduced to Laurie, he's sick. And he's not allowed to go outside even. Yeah. I mean, can you even picture Friedrich being sick and not being able to go outside? I just can't picture it. He would be outside and shovel the snow and everything still, even if he was a little bit sick.
One of my Friedrich Bear friends, fan friends, she wrote this fanfic where she wrote, if Friedrich would get sick, Jo would be so lost. Like Jo wouldn't know what to do. When Laurie is sick, Jo knows that she needs to take care of him. But if Friedrich gets sick, Jo would be sick of worry. Jo would go crazy and Franz or someone should calm Jo down. It would be very serious. Jo would lose herself then.
I agree.
Melodie and I continue our chat next week. Thank you for listening. Take care and make good choices. Bye.